Hello, everybody. My name is Aaron.
My name is Mike.
I'm Jeff.
Welcome to the AMP Golf Podcast. How you two doing today?
Just swell.
Marvelous.
It's another
Just
beautiful
swell.
Detroit here, or it's another beautiful day in the Detroit skyline.
It is. It is. I have the 18th hole behind me. Not that you can see much of it, but Rocket Mortgage this week after the 3M last week. But really, I think the story of the week is the women had their fourth major of the year in France, right?
They did the Avion. Fourth major. Of course, the women have five, unlike the men who only have four. Brooke Henderson, the Canadian, young Canadian, her second major win. I'll tell you what, she had to play a heck of a round on Sunday. She came out 2 strokes ahead, looking like she was in control of the tournament, promptly gave it right up.
Really?
Yeah, first hole she bogeyed, 3-putted it. And her the nearest competitor, Korean, Soo Yeon Roo, birdied, and so they were tied right off the bat.
Wow.
And but Brooke just she's fun to watch golf. She's really a tiny, I say tiny, she's fairly tall, but she's thin, but smile. She's constantly smiling. Just walking up the fairway, smiling, comes off the green, smiling. It's not a big, huge smile. She just looks like, everything's fine. I'm good.
You'd probably smile too if you were the winningest golfer from your country ever.
Yeah, probably.
Which she is now, I believe.
Yeah, well, all 6 Canadian golfers. Congratulations.
Yep.
Not just getting their money more
Right?
than 6. There are 8.
Yeah.
But but good for
anybody
Brooke.
from Canada watching. Sorry, we're just joking. We're just joking.
We're also
just
part
ribbon.
Canadian, so
Aaron and I have a very strong Canadian background. So
Ich bin nicht Canadian. Oh wait, no, I'm all German. So anyway, I tell you, in second place, Stephanie Schubert, United States, 256th ranked female golfer in the world, just played the lights out.
Good for her. That's awesome.
Yeah, lipped a putt out on 18 to potentially tie, and of course Brooke sunk an 8-footer on 18, birdied 18 to win the tournament. So congratulations to Brooke. Great job, everybody there. It was a lot going on, a lot of moving around. It was a fun tournament to watch. So congrats. Big names were up there. Lydia Ko, she finished 3rd. Jin Young Ko and Nelly Korda tied for 8th. So there you go.
Korda kind of fell off, didn't she? She was second place going on Saturday. If I remember correctly, we were kind of talking about that.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
So the French golfers, it was tough for the French golfers. They like the French golfers to do well on their home course. I mean, why not? But it just wasn't meant to be. The French golfers, 2 of them carded 8 overs on Sunday, 79s. Makes it a tough day in front of the home crowd. So
so they played like Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, they played Phil golf. Right, absolutely. So
I love Phil, by the way.
Rose Zhang, who I mentioned last week, turned an amateur, in her first major. Yeah. It was not her weekend. She tied for 65th. She didn't, make the cut. So good for her, but bright future, I think, ahead for her. So
awesome.
Absolutely. I don't know, and I don't have it up. Do you know if Pauline Bouchard played at all? Aaron, you remember her from the Brian Bros stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know that she did.
From France. And she's
I don't think so. I have Agatha Leonze, Pauline.
Gotcha.
Oh, Pauline
she
Bouchard.
Did. Yeah, she was. Yeah, she looks like she missed the cut.
Gotcha. Okay, she was pretty strong going into. I believe this is her rookie year. She played really well at that tournament that's held for the Masters for the women, and she had a strong college career. So she's definitely a player, but I haven't heard much about her this year. So I was wondering if she was there. So
she did play in it, but yeah, it was a rough ending to her week. So
yes, it was
cool. Well, with them being in France last week, are they playing this week?
They are in Scotland. It is actually the Women's Scottish
Oh.
Open this week. Some of the names
Gotcha.
that, there'll be a fair number of big names this week for them. Jin Young Ko is going to play in Scotland. She actually hasn't played in Scotland since 2018. She entered as a pro that year, and Scotland was one of her first overseas tournaments. So she's back there. She hasn't been to Scotland since the COVID restrictions settled in.
Yeah.
Didn't have an opportunity to go over in 2019. So there you go. A couple of big names were playing in another tournament though for the women. We had the Senior LPGA Championship on Sunday as well.
That's right.
Right.
Annika was playing, wasn't she?
Well, okay. So if there was a rivalry when Annika was a golfer, who was that United States golfer that would have been the
Inkster?
Rival? Not Inkster. Although Inkster we saw her occasionally. Webb.
Who was
Carrie Webb.
Oh, Carrie Webb. Yeah.
Carrie Webb.
That's right.
And Sunday, it came down to Carrie Webb and Annika Sorenstam. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah. Carrie held off Annika to take a 2-stroke victory in that tournament. So
nice to see Annika playing again. I'd love to see her just regularly. She was such a strong presence for the women and a dominating factor in the women's game for a long time. So nice to see her back.
I watched one of her last tournaments as in the not in the senior rankings, and she hit a 6-iron that was just ridiculous. And I was just like, yep, that just sums up Annika's career, just hitting incredible shots whenever she needed to hit them, seemed like. So
yeah, she was incredibly dominant in her time on the LPGA. So and she left when she felt it was right for her. She took care of her family, she did that stuff and stepped away for a while. So to see her back and enjoying it is really a pleasure, I think. So
they tried to play down, her and Carrie tried to play down the rivalry a little bit, but Carrie admitted in an article I read that she goes, well, we kind of talked about it a little bit, as the tournament wore on. So
yeah, why wouldn't you? So
absolutely.
Awesome. So that means that the Women's Open Championship's coming up then in 2 weeks after the Scottish Open?
3 weeks.
3 weeks? Gotcha. Okay. So that's something to look forward to as well. Are they playing in the old course too? Do we know? I don't know. I haven't heard anything. So
Carnoustie.
Ooh. Another
tough
bucket
one.
list. Yeah, another bucket list course,
Carnoustie.
That's gonna be a challenge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So good for them. Thanks for the update, Jeff. Really appreciate it.
When we get to LIV, because LIV always shows up in the podcast at some point. There is a little bit of crosstalk with the LPGA and LIV this week. So
awesome.
I'll have a little more to add to that.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. We had the 3M championship for the guys on the PGA Tour, or for some of the guys, not a lot of the top names were there. And that's okay. It's to be expected after what's happened and what's coming up, right? There's a little break, a lull for some of those that are up there in the world ranking. So they played the 3M Open at the TPC Twin Cities. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I was watching some of it and it looked like Scott Piercy was just going to run away with the thing.
He had a bad day on Sunday. I mean, bad day.
Shot a +5 Now, I don't want to say he handed it to Tony, and Tony's your guy, right? You love Tony. Yeah. But he kind of handed it to Tony, right? Tony still had to play well enough to win. So I don't want to take that away. But it was really Piercy's to lose, and he did lose it. So he stood on the 8th tee on Sunday. He had a 5-stroke lead and pretty much had one hand on that trophy. And then it fell away. So he carded 4 bogeys and a triple bogey over his next 7 holes.
Yeah, that triple bogey, he made a really poor decision, in my opinion, on that hole, trying to do something that he didn't need to do with that lead.
Yep, so. He could have coasted. There is talk about a hand injury or something that was going on, but I haven't confirmed that. I haven't been able to see any more information on it. So I'm not sure if he was hurt and that was part of the problem. Either way, he's got to be hanging his head a little bit to slip down and fall the way he did. Finau shoots a 4-under to win by 3 strokes over Emiliano Grillo and Sanjay M, who finished in a tie for second at 14 under. Finau's kind of lucky when his shot on the par 3 17th remained dry, because that shot ricocheted off the grandstand and almost got wet. It was right on the yellow line, if I remember correctly. So
it was sitting up against it all.
Yeah, he was able to get up and down for par, and he did find the water on 18. So, but he's not alone. 18 ate up a lot of people this week. That's a tough hole.
Yeah, he took driver, which he takes driver out of the bag. Mary's going, she's watching. I go, why is he hitting driver? Put the driver away.
Absolutely.
It into the pond. Okay.
Yeah. So congratulations. He gets his third win on the PGA Tour, right?
Third.
So, and he gets $1.35 million, I believe, and he should climb the rankings. I believe he goes up to 16 now. Yeah. So good for Tony. It's nice to see him playing well. He works for it, right? And he's not in his 20s. He's early 30s now, right, Tony? So
yeah, I think so.
He's got to start looking at trying to cash in as much as he can over these next 7, 8, 9 years before the young guys really start to push him away. So Hideki Matsuyama did not have a good day on Thursday, and he was 1 over through 8 holes when he got to 18th, which was his 9th hole of the day, because they started front and back, right? And this is a hole where we saw somebody make a 12 at, and I believe he had a 9 on this hole, and I believe he let 3 balls go into the water.
Wow.
Yeah. So
he's tin cupping it.
He did. He tin cupped it, and he got a little lucky with his 8th, where he hit his wedge directly at the flag and crashed into the flag. So if it didn't do that, it was probably going to go into hazard again. So he basically bladed a wedge, hit the flag, and got lucky for a little tap in. So 3 balls in the water, quadruple bogey for Hideki, and a immediate withdrawal after that for the rest of the tournament, citing hurt hand. So
and then he's signing on that dotted line for Live Golf.
Well, there's a rumor about that. So
yeah,
we shall see what happens. And the rumor I heard was ridiculous, and I heard it from a couple different places that are fairly reliable when it comes to their news sources. But they're saying $400 million.
Too much.
It's tapping into that Japanese golf market, right? Get the biggest Japanese star.
That is exactly
right now.
it. Yeah, that is exactly it.
I still think they spent more than value on that, and that's fine if that's
of course,
what they're looking to do. But wow, $400 million.
So unconfirmed. Don't know if it's actually true or not. If it is, Aaron, I think you're exactly right. The crazed Japanese golf market and that the Asian market in general, right, where he's the biggest star.
Yeah,
he's the biggest star they have. He's the biggest star they've ever had now, right, since his win at the Masters. So, and there's been some pretty decent Japanese golfers before him. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But up next for the guys is the Rocket Mortgage Classic in our backyard, right? Basically in our backyard, an hour and a half away.
Yeah, we need to go to this sometime.
Well, tickets are still available, by the way. I'm just saying.
Yeah, not happening right now, but there is next year.
That's right.
So so Rocket Mortgage is going on. A lot of big names at the Rocket Mortgage. A lot of big names. Will Zalatoris is going to be there. Tony Finau is going to be there. Keegan Bradley, who a lot of people are saying has got a chance this week. I don't think he does. I don't think his putting's got it. Patrick Cantlay is going to be there. We all know what Patrick did at the end of last year, right? Just stepped up and started winning all of a sudden. So Cam Davis is going to be there. Harris English, Ricky Fowler, who has not gone to Live. Now, quick segue on Ricky. Do you think his buds, Jordan Spieth and JT, are saying don't do it?
I don't know. Honestly, they're probably telling him to do what he feels is right.
Go ahead, Aaron. No, go ahead. Keep going.
I would imagine the conversation is a little bit different between these guys than it is with us or anyone else that's down, kind of where we are. It's really like a money thing, I would imagine at this point. So if he really wants it or needs it, then yeah, he'll probably go. But if he doesn't feel like he needs the money, I'm sure he'll stick it out.
Well, so those three golfers are in really radically different spots
Yeah.
in their winning and their streaking, as far as how they're playing and things like that. It's been a struggle for Ricky. After his rookie year, it's just been tough for him. Whereas the other guys, it's been nothing but up, up, up. So it'd be tempting if they
Yeah.
threw that offer down for him, I bet.
Yeah, I can't see him turning down some scary amount of money. I mean, why would you, right? Especially with the free fall that he's had over the last several years, like you brought up. So
Right.
I would do it. Will Zalatoris is playing. Kim
Yep.
Young's playing. So there's going to be some decent names here. There's some people that need to try to move up in the rankings, with the playoffs coming up and try to get into the FedEx Cup and see what they can do. But I'll start off this week. I love Cam Young here. I love him here. I think he's due for a win. He's played lights out really for a while, especially for a rookie on a tour. A win like this would lock up Rookie of the Year honors for him, I think. And he can bomb it, and bombers do really well here. And he can also putt it. And this is maybe you didn't know this, and maybe Aaron, you'll share this with us. And I'm stepping on your toes here. I apologize, but this is the flattest course the PGA plays.
Yeah. It's very
Flattest.
flat.
The change in elevation is like 2.34 feet or something stupid.
Well, I mean, we're in the Flatlander country here, so.
Yeah, we are. So I'm going with Cam Young to win this. I'm not picking a dark horse. I'm going to put all my money on him. What do you guys got?
I'm going with Will. I just think he's due.
I think, and you've said that a couple of times. I think this is not the first time you thought Will was ready to snag one.
Yeah, I think he's there.
I think I'm going to take another golfer who I think is really ready, who hasn't won yet this year, that I think is hopefully going to show up this week and win. That's Cantlay. He has, the only thing he's won is a team event.
With Xander?
With Xander, right. So he has some top 10s. He's playing good golf. He had that hot streak at the end of the year last year. So he wins the Rocket Mortgage.
Interesting. And I've considered Will for this. What I'm kind of sensing is maybe a pattern developing with Will is, if it's not an incredibly difficult golf course, like one of the most challenging golf courses ever built, he's not going to play as well as he could.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the only reason I didn't pick him here, but he's got everything, right? He's got great length off the tee. He's got really good striking with his irons. His strokes gained tee to green is pretty high. And when he's putting well, and he's got, 12-foot putts, he's sinking them. So.
And this golf course isn't terribly challenging. I mean, by any stretch of the imagination. The last couple of years, I think in 2019, the cut line was at 5 under par, which was the lowest the PGA Tour had seen in like 6 years. And the last 3 times it's been 25 under has been the winner, 23 under, and 18 under. The only real thing that they can do to make it harder at that golf course is to make the greens faster. So there's really nothing else that they can do to make this golf course play more difficult.
Or Mother Nature intervenes.
That's true. That's true.
We get
so we're looking at wide fairways and generous landing areas and stuff like that, right, Aaron?
Yes, pretty much. It's a Donald Ross design course. This is a historic golf course in Detroit. I mean, over 100 years old.
I was gonna say, wasn't it one of the first country clubs?
Yes. Yep, one of the first country clubs.
Okay.
Donald Ross design. So you have the classic Donald Ross layout. It's technically a composite golf course, because it has one of the holes is on the south course and the other 17 are on the north course. But other than that, I mean, there isn't anything crazy that's really happened at this golf course. The Rocket Mortgage is still a relatively newish type of, tournament. So nothing too crazy has happened here. But Donald Ross, can't go wrong. My favorite golf architect. It doesn't have the turtleback greens like Pinehurst, but it's still a nice layout.
So Mary is playing another Donald Ross course this week, Heather Downs, which was Donald Ross's first course. So.
Cool.
Oh my God, she plays all the best courses.
Toledo Women's District Golf. There's a little bit of plug for them. So
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Definitely, of course. Is this a private club, right, Aaron?
Yes, private club.
Detroit is, yeah.
I wonder if we could get on it. We could walk it. It's pretty flat. So
Yeah, and it's not a crazy long golf course. Just over 7,000 yards.
oh, that's not long at all. So
No, so par 72. And the largest elevation change is 43 feet on this golf course. So that's how flat it is.
that's crazy. It's crazy that it's that flat. And it's crazy to think that this is the flattest course they play on the PGA Tour. So
yeah.
I wonder what the hilliest one is, or the one with the most elevation changes.
There was something here. Let me pull it back up. There was, let me see. I don't know how. I mean, I don't think Augusta National is like the hilliest golf course by any means, but for reference, the highest point at Augusta National Golf Club is 318 feet, and the lowest point is 170 feet. So that's the elevation change at Augusta.
140 feet.
Yeah.
That's pretty big. I would think some of these Hawaii courses could have some,
like the plantation course.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Or any anything in Tahoe, if they play on a Tahoe course, if it's a mountain course, because they play up and down those mountains.
Right.
So. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a good call, Jeff. Live Golf plays this week finally after I don't know how many weeks they've had off. So they got to take it easy. So, but they're playing in Bedminster, New Jersey. They got 6 events left. After Bedminster, they go to Boston, then Chicago, then Bangkok, then Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and then back to Miami, Florida for their finale. And Bedminster is a Trump course, right, Aaron?
Yep. 2002, it was bought. The land was bought. It's Tom Fazio design.
Ooh.
From what I can tell of the course, it's nothing. Again, it's not like a crazy challenging course. It's almost like a resort style golf course. Pretty lenient fairways and things like that. It's only 18 years old, so I mean, it's still pretty much a brand new course.
Baby
right.
course.
They did hold the 2017 U.S. Women's Open there.
They did.
So it's not a slouch, right? But
no.
it's probably more suitable to have a women's major there than probably a men's major without some serious work to make the course more challenging. Although I think the guys would just eat it up. So we'll see, because the scores could kind of show that this week. And I don't want to pick a winner who's going to win this week, because I frankly still don't care all that much about it. But when you're talking Live Golf, it hasn't gone away. They continue to sign players, which they say now they're done. They're not signing anybody else. That means is Cam Smith signed? Yes or no? Talk was he was, and is Hideki signed? So, and they did boot a couple players off and kind of relegated them. So, and I'll talk more about what that looks like later. Basically what they're doing is they're taking a page out of soccer, and they're going to relegate the bottom 4 players every year to a different tour, the Asian tour or something else. And they're going to hold a play-in tournament. So the bottom 4 finishers in the 2023 season-long Live standings will be relegated from the league. 3 players will move up via a qualifying tournament billed as a promotions event, while the 4th spot will go to the winner of the money list for the Live International Series, which will be co-sanctioned by the Asian Tour and Live Golf. So it's going to give them a place for former U.S. amateur champs like James Piot and Andy Ogletree, who committed to golf, Live Golf early, but struggled, right? To try to play their way in. So beginning next season, Live Golf expands from 8 to 14 events.
Right.
And the league will begin tracking season-long standings and issue points to the top 24 finishers in each of its events. Also said that the team captains and certain players may be exempt from relegation based on their contractual agreement with the league. Shocker, right? And also said that team captains will be allowed to kick people off their team and bring in other people they think will benefit the team more. So they're thinking the promotion event is going to be 80 to 100 golfers large and be played over 3 or 4 days with a 36-hole finale potentially. So not Numbers 2 through 32 on the money list from the International Series will be exempt into this. Major winners from the last 5 years. Interesting that they put that there. Reigning amateur champions. So if you're an amateur champion and you want to try to get on Live Golf, you can do it. Top 75 in the official world golf ranking will be invited. PGA Tour, DP World Tour winners from the previous year, and any relegated player from Live Golf in the last 2 years, and members of the last Ryder Cup and or President's Cup teams.
That's interesting.
I kind of dig the relegation stuff, you know. I mean, it's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, there's really no other way to do it. You still give the guys a chance to earn their spot back, and it's interesting. It makes for some cool storylines, probably.
Right.
It's a they need to do Ted Lasso, but for golf now, and it's all just the relegations and everything.
I mean, maybe they play frisbee golf for that tournament and then switch to golf.
Yeah, disc golf is huge now.
I know it is.
It's crazy.
I still haven't played it yet, but it looks like fun. So,
also, there's a professional tag series. Don't ask me.
Yes, there is.
I've seen
it.
ESPN.
There's professional cornhole on ESPN that I've seen.
Yes, there is.
And that's a big deal.
It is.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
So,
funny.
Bo Herrig, who writes for Sports Illustrated, came out with an article on Monday that basically says there's a solution for how Live and the other tours could coexist. Basically allowing PGA Tour players and DP World Tour players to compete in Live events, which honestly, the more we talk about this, and it's just there every week, something has to give at some point, right? I don't agree that Sean Monahan digging in his heels as deeply as he's done is the right move here. I think conversations have to happen, although multiple people have reported that Greg Norman is not the person to have these conversations with the tours.
Well, interestingly enough, so I mentioned there was some LPGA crossover news. So
right.
Both Greg Norman and LPGA Commissioner Molly Marco Samon were asked about the other league, and Greg said he is dead set on getting the LPGA, the women's golf, involved in LIV. And Molly said, I'll absolutely take that phone call and have a discussion. She said, obviously, it's a very interesting dynamic for the ladies because of the money that's involved. But anything that happens with the LPGA would only happen with player input. So it sounds to me like she's taking the right approach in saying, we're going to take a holistic league-wide approach at this versus the PGA going, no, you can't have him. So,
Well, we've seen how good that worked for the PGA, threatening their players, that with bans and all that. I don't care.
Yeah.
Fine, ban me.
Right.
If they're going to go to 14 events and they play these events on a schedule, so it's not going to interfere with the major tournaments, right? And it showcases the 48 best players in the world. People would watch that every time, right?
Yeah.
I would think so.
I would. Now LPGA comes into it. Maybe they bring in this mixed field event, which would be this would be perfect for it. It really would be. Get the best players on both sides, mix them up into teams and go at it. I would love to see it. We've talked about that since we started the podcast. We want to see more of stuff like that. Maybe they could do that. So I would love to see it, but there's got to be compromise here at some point. And PGA Tour, in order to keep your PGA Tour status, I think you have to play in a minimum of 15 events. I think it's 15. So in order to appease players wanting to play less and wanting to play for more money, maybe there's compromise on both sides. Maybe Live is a 10 event a year thing. So you're looking at, as a player, only having to play 25 times a year. Now, a lot of other players are going to play more than that because they want to increase their world golf ranking. They want to try to get into these lucrative money events. Right. And I think that's the way to look at it. But I don't know that Monahan's the guy for the PGA Tour to lead them into that. And I don't know that Greg Norman's the guy for Live to lead them into that. I think the animosity is so strong right now that it's just, it's an FU and FU and an FU. And now DP World Tour's out the side going, I'm kind of with the PGA, but not really, but we are, so.
Yeah, I think Greg could be the name if he hadn't set a couple of bridges on fire when he was doing some of this stuff. So, now he's really interested in promoting Live Golf, and there are some people that just, they're not just going to talk to him just because he's
right.
Right. So, I think you're right, and I think that is the perspective of it. And obviously, the LPGA is not taking that approach. They're being very, open-minded, if you will, and ensuring that the players all have input. Because honestly, if LIV did a women's golf version of the LIV tour, there you wouldn't have the top 40 would leave in a heartbeat. Probably the top 50.
The money they can offer them.
Oh yeah,
it is so much more than what's available on the LPGA tour right now.
They'd all. I guarantee it almost all. Well, I say guarantee. I'm fairly confident most of them would just walk over.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's too much money for them to even think about not taking. It's life changing for them in a huge way. So I don't know. Charles Barkley, who's been trying to kind of get on to the broadcast as an announcer, finally kind of put his foot down. He has talked to Greg Norman, according to an article I read where he was talking about it. And he said it's going to take a lot of money for him to go. He was on Dan Patrick's show. Mm-hmm. And Dan said, well, how much money? And Barkley doesn't want to commit to an amount, right? But he said, well, 3 times what I'm making now would be probably enough money for me to leave TNT and NBA and stuff, because he's going to lose sponsors immediately when he does it. And the estimate is he's making $20 million a year right now. So it's about $60 million a year to get Barkley. He gave him a deadline. He's playing in the Pro-Am with Live Golf this week. He said if at the end of that he doesn't have an offer, he's done. He's walking away, and he's going to just stick with what he's doing.
Okay, unless I'm missing something. What's the draw with Charles Barkley in golf? I know he's very passionate about the game. I know he loves golf.
I mean, for me, and I'm probably I would imagine I'm speaking for a majority of people who know who Charles Barkley is. And the only reason why he's popular with golf is because he had a ridiculous swing. And that, I mean, right? If you don't know who Charles Barkley is as a basketball player or as like an analyst, it's because he has a crazy golf swing, and you've watched those YouTube videos a million times. You know?
And he's a clown. He's kind of a clown.
Okay, but I mean, any one of us can clown it up on Live Golf, and they could spend a lot less money. Actually, they want to hire all 3 of us.
Package deal.
They can spend a lot less money, and we'll clown it up for them.
Right. Price goes down the more of us you add to it.
Right. Exactly. So I guess my point is, I don't think it's a value spend for Live Golf to spend $60 million or whatever he wants to get Charles Barkley to come announce golf. Sir Charles, I get it. But
there's no way they're paying Faraday that much, and Gary McCord, who's going over. They're talking about Gary McCord going over too. There's no way they're going to pay them each $60 million a year. It's not going to work.
Right.
But they need the TV personalities to start to land TV deals. Faraday brings him, and McCord bring them that sense of calm and certainty that we have competent golf people talking about what's going on.
So does that open the door to, say, Golf Channel, right? Because there's a lot of ties in Faraday and McCord with Golf Channel and, that whole network.
Golf Channel, I believe, was started by Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer was one of the initial investors in it. And the PGA Tour. I don't know. I don't know the detail. I don't know all the deets, but I don't see the Golf Channel saying, yes, let's do Live Golf.
Right.
I do see Live having enough money to start their own channel, though. Why wouldn't they?
Or do you open the door to, there's a bunch of sports channels now on the main networks, right? MSNBC Sports, Fox Sports.
And it looks like NBC owns Golf Channel. Looks like they're the ones that have that whole umbrella over them.
I don't see the Golf Channel being a part of it. I see Live trying to attract the talent that would help them land contracts, TV contracts with some other networks potentially to broadcast their game. Now, the thing about this is I don't think that a shotgun start and 54 holes is enough, right? I understand why they're doing a shotgun start. It's hard to watch. As a golf fan who tried to watch it, there's so much happening at once. There's no way to follow all the action. And Aaron, you said it after their first event. You went and they showed like what 35, 40 shots back to back to back to back to back to back. Cool, not cool. It's almost too much, you know. So.
But if you're really trying to follow any PGA event on Sunday, there are that many golfers on the course at any given time.
There are, but
so it's how the coverage is done. It's not that there are that many golfers out there. If they're trying to shove that many shots of golf onto the TV screen, there's going to be kind of a burnout effect, right?
Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
No, I was just going to say you need to do kind of the feature group thing, or pick your coverage or stuff like that, cover certain holes. But yeah,
if they're going to do it, they should pattern everything they do after the Masters tournament. Period. Just have 3 or 4 channels up where you can watch a featured group or two, and then you can watch groups of holes, right? So you can see everybody kind of progressing through the golf course. I don't think there's better coverage out there than the Masters. We've talked about this at length as well, and I had a TV going and 2 computers going when the Masters was on, and I was able to watch and catch everything and didn't feel like I was being inundated with just shot after shot after shot. So, right. And they had different announcers for the different spots too, which was kind of cool to listen to. And if you don't like an announcer, you just don't watch it, go watch one of the other featured groups. So they have enough money. They can do it, Aaron. We talk about this. All the majors should be doing that because it'd be much easier to watch and gives the fans a better experience.
I'm surprised they don't have something like that on their website, to be honest, because they already have such a huge online presence. Like that's how they're broadcasting themselves. That's how you watch their tournaments right now is on YouTube. And I think something that adds to the overwhelming, like you were saying, shot after shot, is that you're not interrupted by a commercial every few minutes to like give you a break. It's just, you're watching 4 hours of golf shots over and over and over again, which again, from what I watched is fine. But maybe with Faraday and some other announcers, it'll be a little bit more entertaining because it almost seemed like every time they switched, like the announcers were getting caught up. Like, oh, okay, here's so-and-so. Oh, he hit his shot. Oh, here we're going to this person now. And it looks like they're putting. It just seemed like there was almost too much happening for the commentators to like keep up with.
Well, my guess would be that Faraday and McCord are going to kind of wrangle that beast and
for
say,
sure.
Okay, this isn't going to work. All you're doing is people are turning the mute button on and they're just watching the numbers on the bottom of the screen.
It's almost like you have to have a dedicated person at each hole at the tee box and then another one probably somewhere 3/4 of the way to the green to help transition the tee shot to the second shot to the putting, right? So can they legitimately have, you're talking 36 plus 2 more, 38 announcers and just keep bouncing around from all of them to get caught up? That's a lot to wrangle.
Probably not.
So
it'll probably be like it is, it'll be a few announcers for a few holes here and there.
Right.
But again, it's so new. This is the first year it's happening. They're still working out the kinks. I'm sure the broadcasting is just going to get better. There's no way that they're not going to be trying to make it as good as it possibly can be. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the next year there's like a Live Golf app or something like that will let you track and watch stats like that in real time. And maybe even tournaments. If they're going to go with the more online presence, why wouldn't they? It's the way to go right now.
Oh, absolutely. And for somebody that's got their cord cut, Aaron, it would be easier for you to watch it and give you something to actually watch because the PGA Tour still doesn't do a very good job at that, right? So,
nope.
Well, the Masters, I actually got most of my Master stuff through the app.
Yeah, I didn't watch anything. Except for when we went over on Sunday, but other than that, it was all online.
Yeah. and it's amazing. It's the coverage is top notch, and it's very consistent. I love the Masters. As a matter of fact, I'm taking off Thursday and Friday next year for the Masters, just to make sure that we can watch the whole thing. So put that in your calendars, and let's talk about that later. Something really cool happened last week as well. The U.S. Adaptive Open Championship was held at Pinehurst number 6.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, this is a neat little event.
Right. The inaugural competition was conducted on course number 6 at the historic Pinehurst Resort and Country Club. It was on July 18th through 20th. And the second U.S. Adaptive Open will also be held there next year, July 17th and 19th. So it's the association's 15th national championship, joining the U.S. Open, the U.S. Women's Open, U.S. Amateur, U.S. Women's Amateur, and other events. So these players that get to play in this and participate and even win, their names are going to be going down in history with some of the greatest that's ever played the game too. So that's fantastic. On the men's side, Simon Lee from Korea finished tied with Felix Norman from Sweden at 3 under par. Lee came through in the playoff to get the W here. So congratulations to him. And on the women's side, Kim Moore from the United States finished at plus 16 with rounds of 76, 80, and 76 to get the win over second place finisher Rhiannon Jackson, also for the United States. So what I think about what they did with the rules, and there are no rules in the official world golf rules right in the handbook for adaptive golf, because you got to think about it. A lot of these players are using specially designed carts to help them get around, swing out, and still sit in the cart and swing. They can't hit out of the sand like other players could. So they design rules to make it fair for everybody. And the talk is now to try to get these rules standardized so that they can actually get them into the official rule book, so that we can compete against people that might have some limitations that we don't have, right? And have it the same kind of handicapped system, and the rules benefit them so that they could actually play against us and not feel like they're at a big disadvantage. So I think it's really cool what they're trying to do here. Really cool.
Yeah. No, I agree. Is golf in the Special Olympics?
I don't believe it is.
I don't think it is either.
Just curious. It's really cool. I mean, so it looks like Simon Lee shot 1 under on all 3 of his rounds to win.
Yep.
And Felix Norman shot 2 under on his last 2 rounds, 2 under on each round, but he shot 75 on the first round.
Gotcha.
So he had to even it out.
Now, Pinehurst number 6 is not the most difficult of the Pinehurst courses, but it's not a slouch either. It's still a hard course.
It's a Pinehurst course. Yeah.
It's a Pinehurst course. Yeah.
Yeah. So really, really outstanding job. And I bet you it was just an amazing 3 days to be there as a spectator or player and participate in this. We've always talked about AMPED golf being inclusive, right? And for this to be available to people that might have some limitations of some kind, it's just outstanding in my mind. Outstanding. So I wanted to bring that up.
I'm watching some of the highlights on their website because the USGA hosted this, and they have some highlights, and some of these are, I mean, crazy. Like, there's a guy teeing off sitting side saddle on a cart because he has a leg impairment, and he's hitting a driver 220 yards sitting down.
I'd like to hit a driver 220 standing up some days.
That's super cool. Couple guys only swinging it with one hand. I just think that's a really cool event.
Yeah. So we'll have to pay attention to that next year as well, and probably dig into their website a little bit to see what else they have going on for these athletes. Everybody wants to compete against other people, right? Especially in golf, and you want to win. So with them having that ability, I just think it's outstanding. Cantlay could win the USGA championship this year, but it's not going to be Patrick. Did you know he's got an 18-year-old brother?
No, I didn't. Amateur?
He does. Yep. 18-year-old younger brother. And he opened the U.S. Junior Amateur with a 567 Monday at Bandon Dunes, Aaron.
Bandon Dunes.
Yeah, the amateur's been held there I think it was held there actually recently, within the last few years. That's going to be tough if the wind's blowing there. I mean, that's going to be hard course to play.
His opening round of the 36-hole stroke play portion featured a final 9, 8 under 28 on Bandon's front 9, a new championship record for lowest 9-hole score.
That's wild.
Incredible.
Burning it up. That is a great round.
Yeah, it is. He started slow too, so he was 4 over after 8 holes before making a birdie at the par 5 18th. And that's when he saw his friend and fellow playing competitor Luke Powell. When he asked him how he was playing, and Cantley answered, "Not good." And Powell said, "Turn it around."
Okay. I guess I'll go out and make 8 birdies.
Yeah. So he did. So he's going to be an incoming freshman at Long Beach State on the golf team, and he looks like he's got a bright future ahead of him. So
it's just crazy, being that good.
I was looking at good.
I remember being in high school golf, and I wasn't good enough to have the coach even coach me. Like it was the point where if you weren't on varsity, you just went and played 9 holes of golf after school. And I don't think even a single one of the high school lettermen were even close to that good. Like that's just insane. Being able to go out and shoot a 28 at 18 years old.
Yeah. So we don't talk a lot about amateur golf here. It's something that's interested me for a while, and I've been kind of poking around at Division 1, 2, 3 colleges and seeing who the top colleges are and who produces good golfers and stuff. The second ranked college golfer in the country this year is a freshman.
Whoa.
In Division 1. He is a freshman.
Where's he going to school? Oklahoma?
Yeah. No, I don't believe it's Oklahoma. Stanford's one of the top college golf schools in the country. Did you know?
Yeah. Stanford. Yeah. Oklahoma's got a great They got a great
do.
program.
Yeah,
they do. So there's a whole bunch of stuff which I'm going to save for later podcasts as the season winds down, and we're looking to talk about what's happening. College golf world is a very interesting world. So Phil's in the unofficial autobiography of Phil that was just released, there's a lot of talk about what goes on in college golf and what goes on between the men's and women's golf teams and stuff like that. So
debauchery.
It is
a lot of interesting stuff. So the FedEx Cup playoffs are set to begin in 2 weeks. The PGA Tour came out with a secondary points list for eligibility. The list is going to remove those who have been suspended indefinitely by the tour, but have not resigned membership for participating in live golf events. So Monahan apparently sent a memo to the players that basically says that suspended members do not negatively impact other players' tournament eligibility, positioning on the prior rankings, or eligibility to compete in FedEx Cup playoffs. The policy board has approved the creation of an eligibility points list, which removes suspended players from the FedEx Cup list. The regular season points list sets the criteria for the playoffs. The top 125 qualify for the first postseason event, as well as the player's status for next season. While the new list will not take the place of the official FedEx Cup points list, it will provide clarity for players and fans alike in regard to tournament eligibility, including FedEx Cup playoffs and priority rankings for the 2022-23 season. Along with the memo, the tour sent players the most recent eligibility points list that has removed the suspended players. The 125th ranked player in the new list is Steven Yeager, who's ranked number 133 on the regular season FedEx Cup points list. Webb Simpson, number 125 on the FedEx Cup list, is now 117th on the eligibility list. So the players that removed: Taylor Gooch, Matt Jones, Hudson Swafford, Matt Wolf, Abraham Answer, Carlos Ortiz, Brooks Koepka, and Pat Perez. Did you know Brooks Koepka has fallen all the way to 102
in the world rankings?
In the FedEx Cup list, on the FedEx Cup.
Oh, I was like, holy crap. He was like 27th last time I checked.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Two different lists, right? So
he hasn't done anything. I mean,
no,
he hasn't really done anything.
Yeah. So this is interesting. And it's also going to impact eligibility for the President's Cup, which is being held later this year. So that's something we have to look forward to as well. It's not quite the Ryder Cup. We all know that, but it's still a fun event to watch. And there's a lot of talk about Europe and how people going to live golf is going to have a serious negative impact on their Ryder Cup team and their chances in performance. So
Europe's team or
Europe's team.
Yeah.
I saw someone the other day saying that Live Golf is setting up a Miracle on grass instead of the Miracle on ice. So it'll be, a team of no name Europeans come in and beat the crap out of a bunch of Americans, whatever. But I think Europe's going to get smashed for a while.
There's wishful thinking involved there.
Yeah.
Hey, we were owned for a long time.
Oh yeah. We were.
Yeah, it's time
long time. So
dish it out.
Yeah, next year it's in France. Is that right?
I think no, it's in Rome, isn't it? The Ryder Cup?
Rome. Correct. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Europe still has to pick a new captain now that they lost their captain. And Padraig Harrington is not a fan of Stenson leaving and going and giving up this chance of a lifetime to be the Ryder Cup captain. But whatever.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Americans still look really good. It'll be interesting to see if they can pull it all together with people like Will Zalatoris joining them, and maybe Tony Finau has risen enough to get on there. But
the President's Cup is U.S. versus every other country in Europe, right? It's not Great Britain or anything like that. It's like everyone else, correct? Like Australia, all the places.
I want to say yes, but honestly, I'm not entirely sure. So
I don't know if it's European Union or if it's just all comers. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, it says. Oh, okay. So I got it kind of right. So the President's Cup is a series of men's golf matches between a team representing the United States and an international team representing the rest of the world minus Europe.
Okay.
Okay, now come on. Let's get rid of the President's Cup and expand the Ryder Cup to, maybe 3 or 4 teams, right? Maybe that'd be more fun. I don't know.
No.
Don't mess with tradition.
No, don't do it.
Come on now. Ryder Cup can now be 3 teams and including a team from Live Golf.
Yes.
Wait, and they can have a 54-hole playoff and do shotgun start.
They have to shotgun at the start?
Yes.
Every bogey is a shotgun?
Yeah, there you go.
Every birdie is a shotgun. If it's going to be professional golf, I want them to get worse fast.
Yeah, that's kind of what's going on this week. There hasn't been a ton of really big news. The season's winding down. We got the Tour Championship coming up, and I'm anxious to see if Patrick Cantlay, who's number 4 in the world, right, can pull out another miracle and win a couple of events to win the Tour Championship. Honestly, I was talking to somebody at work about this today, and he was thinking that Scheffler's got it locked up and he's going to win. And I said, I don't know. Rory has been playing the best golf of any golfer out there, but just not winning, right? When you look at strokes gained in major championships, he's got an ungodly number of strokes gained over the rest of the field, but didn't win one. The only other player to do that, I think, was Ernie Els, who had maybe 2 more strokes gained than him over the field, and played lights out, but didn't win a major. So Rory's got it lined up. Right
now, Scotty has a commanding lead. He's still over 1,200 points above Cameron Smith. So, I would imagine if he makes one top 10 and he doesn't, he's probably got it locked up unless he completely misses every cut going into the end of the season here. I think it's going to be him. And knowing him, he'll probably show up and card a second place or maybe even a win over the next couple of weeks.
He could.
Nice. He's kind of, it's just getting later in the year, but it almost seems like Scotty's run was such a long time ago. No one really talks about it anymore. No one really talks about how good of a season he had, but
well, the season has really been broken up into segments, right? We had Scotty, we had Cam Smith, we had Xander Schauffele, and we have Rory. We have 4 golfers that have really put a hurt on the rest of the fields this year and played extremely well and for the most part fairly consistently. I just think Rory's been the most consistent without winning the major.
Right.
So, and you think that with his mentality and the way he's handled things, that he's just putting in the work. He's playing in the BMW Championship over in the DP Tour World Tour,
Probably
coming up to represent there and play there. But I think he's tuning up to make another run and potentially get the Tour Championship.
So, looking at the FedEx Cup standings, do you know who is? So this kind of surprised me. Max Homa is 11th in that FedEx Cup rankings, which I
almost had a good year.
He has had a good year. I kind of forgot about his sneaky good year.
He's in the top 20 now. He just rose from 21st to 20th in the world golf rankings. He's excited about golf. He looks like he's in a great headspace for it right now. He took a vacation, and there was a tweet from him saying, 12 hours into the new vacation, already practicing air swings, game feels good, already bored, So Homa wants to have a bigger presence on the PGA Tour. He wants to represent it well. And I think he's really starting to come into his own as a player. So I like watching him. I like hearing him speak. I think
his whole Twitter presence is great.
It's pretty
has a lot of funny stuff.
Yeah. And I think he hurt himself. Sorry. He was hurt playing with Tiger at the Open Championship, right? He'll admit it. He was in awe playing with this guy that was an idol, right? So we've all been there where somebody's playing really well and your game rises up to them, or somebody's playing really badly and your game kind of maybe drops to their level. There's a lot of people thinking that he was hurt by the pairing with Tiger and was just enjoying himself so much going around the course, watching everybody put love on Tiger that he forgot about his own game. So
can't blame him. I'd probably be the same way.
Yep, I'm with you, Aaron. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Tiger, turn around. You cannot watch me swing.
Yeah.
Turn around right now. No eyes on my swing. But, playing with Tiger Woods, oh, man. God, this is like a dream. Please give me every tip you can think of. I'll do everything you tell me to do, or I'll try to anyway. So It'd be amazing. It'd be amazing. So you guys got any other news stories I missed, or something that you saw that I didn't bring up?
No, nothing crazy. Again, I mean, we're kind of just getting ready for the playoffs, I guess.
Playoffs?
The playoffs, the golf playoffs.
Talking about practice. Two different people, but still fun to listen to them. Was it the playoffs guy was the head coach for Atlanta, right? In football, or the playoffs. And then Allen Iverson, talking about practice. Two of the best things ever to watch on TV. Really, really great. Almost as good as one of the Ryan brothers blowing up. So anyway. Yeah. So that's what we got for you guys this week. And gals, again, we appreciate everybody who takes time out to listen and watch. We've been playing around with the camera on the course and doing some little 30-second vids. And I jumped a couple on one on YouTube and a couple on Instagram this week. And as we play, we're going to do more of this, and you're going to see more course vlogs come up with us, playing 3 or 4 holes, and we'll put all our swings out there so you can pick them apart and have the fun that we have with them.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get Jeff to recreate his on the knees out of the bunker shot, since I was dumb enough to not record it. So, but looks like we're going to be able to play a lot of golf coming up. The weather's been outstanding, so I love that.
It should be a good week. I'm excited to play. Actually, Saturday and Sunday. I feel like the last few weeks we haven't been able to get out both days.
Right?
Yeah, we've tried a little bit. Aaron and I played on Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's
hot. It's hot.
Jeff, did you and Mary get out on Sunday?
We did not.
So we got out at we were on a course by 6:30.
And it was that hot?
By 6:35, I was drenched.
It's so humid.
The humidity was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did the same thing when we played in a tournament. I was playing pretty decent, then had 2 or 3 holes where I lost my focus. And but Aaron played well. I played well.
Good.
We could feel the games being right there. You know, you know that feeling that you get when the swing is clicking, everything's going. So
Definitely.
pretty happy with where we're at, and got to get the app downloaded on my phone for Swizzy Golf. For those of you that don't know Swizzy Golf, go download the app on your phone, and it allows you to connect with a coach virtually who will give you pointers. You can videotape your swing. He can give you immediate feedback or send you feedback at a later time. You can pick a coach that works in your budget or your style, kind of. And the feedback is really phenomenal, and it's really great for people that don't have access to coaches in their area, right? So
Right.
we have to travel a bit to get a coach. When Aaron and I have done that, Jeff, you and Mary have a coach that you've worked with in the past. Here where we're located, there's just not a lot of coaching. So Swizzy Golf is a great platform. Give it a shot if you haven't already, and really let us know how it goes for you. We'd love to hear from you. We get Eric, who is the head honcho over at Swizzy Golf, on the podcast from time to time, and he'd love to hear what's going on, what you like, what you don't like. So give us that feedback and give it a shot. Other than that, that's all I got, fellas.
Same. Got nothing else crazy going on.
Go hit them. Go hit them straight.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Have a great week.